You're sitting in your living room perfectly comfortable. Your thermostat is set to a normal, cozy temperature. But have you ever noticed your cat staring at you from across the room, curled up unusually tight? Most owners just smile. You think your cat is simply settling in for a peaceful nap. But the devastating truth is, you might be forcing them to survive in a freezing environment. Your cat's normal body temperature is significantly higher than yours. What feels like a perfectly comfortable 70 degrees to a human can feel like a chilling, hostile draft to a feline. By ignoring their subtle physical cues, you are unknowingly leaving them to freeze in their own territory. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 silent signs your cat is desperately cold, and you need to pay very close attention to sign number 4. It is a sudden personality shift that almost every owner accidentally punishes them for. Picture this: it's a quiet afternoon and your cat is sitting on the floor. They have tucked their front paws tightly beneath their chest and their tail is wrapped tightly around their body, completely out of sight. They look exactly like a little furry loaf of bread. Most owners absolutely love this. You probably pull out your phone to take a picture, assuming they are just incredibly comfortable, relaxed, and enjoying a lazy afternoon. But what almost nobody talks about is that this adorable posture can actually be a primal biological maneuver. Yes, a cat loaf can mean they are relaxed, but when the temperature drops, this position serves a critical life-saving function. Cats have a higher normal body temperature than humans, hovering around 101.5 degrees Fahrenheit. When they feel a chill, their instinct isn't to shiver like we do. Instead, they execute a precise strategy to minimize surface area. By tucking their limbs and tail, the parts of the body that lose heat the fastest, they are actively trapping their core body heat to protect their vital organs. If you see them loafing tightly and their eyes are wide open and alert, they are not resting. They are conserving energy. They are executing a survival protocol in a room that feels too cold. Have you ever been relaxing on the couch and your cat walks up to press their nose, ears, or paw against your bare arm or cheek, and it feels like a tiny piece of ice? Most owners just laugh it off. You probably think, "Oh, your little toes are cold," and give them a quick rub before going back to whatever you were doing. You assume it's just a temporary harmless physical reaction, no different than when you forget to wear your slippers around the house. But what almost nobody talks about is that those ice-cold extremities are not a cute quirk. They are an alarming internal warning system. When a cat's environment drops below their optimal thermal threshold, their nervous system immediately enters a state of biological triage. To prevent a catastrophic drop in their core temperature, their body triggers an aggressive survival process called vasoconstriction. The blood vessels in their extremities, their ears, nose, tail, and paws, tightly constrict. Their body is literally sacrificing blood flow to their outer limbs, pulling all of that warm blood inward just to keep their heart, lungs, and center brain functioning. When they press those freezing paws against your skin, they are not just saying hello, they are desperately seeking an external heat source to thaw out their restricted vessels. They are seeking your warmth because their own body can no longer sustain it. They are not asking for a pet, they are asking for a lifeline. Have you ever walked into a room and found your cat sleeping in the most bizarre, seemingly uncomfortable place possible? Maybe they are balanced awkwardly on top of your Wi-Fi router, squished behind the refrigerator, or draped over a hot radiator. Most people think this is just classic weird cat behavior. You assume they are trying to be high up to survey their territory or assert dominance. You might even find it funny that they chose a hard plastic machine over the soft, expensive bed you bought them. But the truth is, this is not about territory. This is about thermal hunting. In the wild, felines rely heavily on the sun to maintain their body temperature. When they live indoors, especially in rooms with drafts, tile, or hardwood floors, the ambient temperature at the floor level can drop drastically. Without sunlight, their instincts force them to seek out artificial thermal radiation. They will endure physical discomfort, balancing on sharp edges or hard plastic just to absorb the faint electronic heat radiating from your appliances. If your cat abandons their soft beds to sleep on your electronics, they are telling you something profound. They aren't trying to be funny. They are telling you that your floor has become a freezing, hostile zone, and they are doing whatever it takes to survive it. Have you ever noticed your normally affectionate cat suddenly acting distant on a chilly evening? You go to pick them up, and they squirm away, retreat under the bed, or even swat at your hand when you try to comfort them. Most owners take this personally. You assume they're just being moody, acting aloof or throwing a classic feline tantrum. You might even laugh, call them a jerk, and walk away, leaving them alone to cool off. But what almost nobody talks about is that walking away is the worst thing you can do. This sudden personality shift is not an attitude problem. It is a severe, cold-induced neurological response. When a cat's body temperature drops, their brain perceives it as a life-threatening crisis. This triggers a massive spike in cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. Their nervous system enters a frantic fight-or-flight survival state. In this state, interacting with you requires caloric energy they simply do not have to spare. Being touched or picked up forces them to untuck their body, releasing whatever precious core heat they have managed to trap. They aren't hiding because they're mad at you. They are hiding because their biology is screaming at them to conserve energy at all costs. Ignoring them when they act like this only shatters their trust. Bring a warm blanket to their hiding spot instead. They are not being antisocial. They are literally too cold to show love. You leave a pile of laundry on the bed, you turn your back for 1 second, and when you look again, your cat has completely buried themselves underneath your shirts and towels. Most owners just laugh this off. You probably pull out your phone to take a photo, thinking they are just being silly, playing hide and seek, or being a classic mischievous feline interrupting your chores. But what almost nobody talks about is the heartbreaking reality behind this behaviour. They are not playing, they are executing a desperate survival strategy. When a cat's environment drops to a temperature their body can no longer fight off naturally, their wild instincts take over. They become microclimate architects. By burrowing deep into a dense pile of fabric, they are creating an insulated bunker to physically trap their escaping body heat. And if those clothes are worn, the meaning is even more profound. Your unwashed clothes are saturated with your specific biological scent profile. To a freezing, vulnerable animal, your scent represents the ultimate security. They are literally wrapping themselves in your identity because they feel physically threatened by the cold. Next time you find them buried in your laundry, don't drag them out into the chilly air. Leave them be or gently add a warm blanket over the top. They are not being a nuisance. They are using your memory to survive. Have you ever been trying to sleep on a chilly winter night only to be kept awake by your cat relentlessly pacing the floor? They walk from the bedroom to the living room, jump on the bed, immediately jump off, and refuse to settle down for even a minute. Most owners assume this is just a burst of midnight zoomies, or that the cat is bored and demanding attention. You might groan, pull the covers over your head, or even shut them out of the bedroom, hoping they will just tire themselves out and finally sleep. But here is the devastating truth. They are not playing and they are not bored. This is a stress-induced biological response to freezing temperatures. When a cat feels dangerously cold and they cannot find a warm spot or an insulated microclimate, their body hits a critical point. Their brain forces them into motion. By pacing relentlessly, they are generating kinetic heat. It is a desperate, exhausting attempt to keep their blood circulating to their frozen extremities. They cannot settle down because stopping means their body temperature will plummet back into the danger zone. The pacing is fueled by a massive release of cortisol, keeping them awake and moving against their will. Locking them out of the room only isolates them in their struggle. They are not being annoying. They are walking to stay alive. You're fast asleep in the dead of night when you suddenly wake up feeling a heavy weight on your chest. You look down to find your cat sprawled directly across your heart, or perhaps wrapped tightly around your neck like a furry scarf. Most owners feel a deep wave of warmth and love in this moment. You assume they are just being incredibly affectionate, showing you how much they trust you, or simply wanting to be as close to you as possible. You might even find it a bit suffocating, but you let them stay because you don't want to hurt their feelings. But the truth is far more high stakes than a simple cuddle. This is an urgent survival tactic. Cats are biological thermal opportunists. When their environment becomes too cold for their high internal metabolism to handle, they seek out the most efficient radiator available. In your home, that radiator is you. Specifically, the human head and chest release the highest concentration of radiant thermal energy. When your cat sleeps on your neck or chest, they aren't just being clingy. They are siphoning your core body heat as a last resort to maintain their own temperature. In their eyes, you are the designated fire in a cold, dark room. Pushing them off during a freezing night feels like being cast out of the only safe harbour they have. They are not just sleeping, they are surrendering their safety to your warmth. Your home is your cat's entire universe. When that world turns cold, they have only one person to turn to. Recognizing these 7 silent signals isn't just about turning up the thermostat, it is the ultimate emotional proof to your cat that you are their designated protector. It validates the trust they placed in you the moment they entered your life. Please subscribe and share this video. It is our moral duty to ensure no cat has to suffer in a silent chill again. Let's bridge the language barrier together. They are not just seeking heat, they are seeking you.